You've seen those labels, PABA-free. They've been on sunscreen bottles for decades, and for many people, that phrase meant one thing, that PABA must have been toxic, dangerous, something we were smart to get rid of. But is that really true? I'm Dr. Chris Ho, and today I want to tell you the real story why PABA was once celebrated, why it fell out of favor, and why the same molecule still quietly works inside your own body every single day. Back in the 1940s and 50s, PABA or para-aminobenzoic acid was a breakthrough. It was one of the first ingredients proven to absorb ultraviolet B, the part of sunlight that burns and damages skin. It protected soldiers, beachgoers, and outdoor workers before modern sunscreens even existed. It was also completely water soluble. It washed off easily and didn't linger in the body. But it had one flaw. For a small group of people, it caused allergic or photoallergic rashes. About 15% developed redness or itching after repeated use. It wasn't poisoning them, it was the same kind of sensitivity you can get from nickel jewelry or a perfume ingredient. Still, those reactions were uncomfortable and visible. By the late 1980s, manufacturers began replacing PABA with newer broad-spectrum filters. To promote the upgrade, they printed PABA-free, PABA-free, PABA-free across every bottle. It worked in marketing terms, but psychologically it did something else. It framed PABA as a banned chemical, lumped in with the parabens, phthalates, and formaldehyde. The science had simply moved forward. The public was left believing it had been removed for safety. And once a fear sticks to a label, it rarely fades. The fear lived on for several reasons. First, those dramatic rashes looked alarming, so stories spread faster than science. Second, PABA sounded suspiciously like paraben or PPD, the hair dye chemical, and the internet began merging them together as if they were the same thing. Third, the rise of chemical-free marketing made every free from list sound heroic, even when the replacement was another synthetic filter. And finally, no one ever came back to tell the redemption story, the true story. The silence allowed PABA to remain the sunscreen villain that nobody bothered to defend. Here's what dermatology and toxicology have shown over the last 80 years. PABA is not carcinogenic. It's not a hormone disruptor. It's not a systemic toxin. The only proven issue was that minority of allergic and photoallergic skin reactions. Once the ingredient was retired, that problem disappeared, but so did public trust. The molecule itself never caused internal harm, and because it's water soluble, any trace that enters the body is broken down and excreted quickly, just like any vitamin B complex. Here is the irony. This is the irony. PABA never really left our lives. Tiny amounts occur naturally in foods like mushrooms, spinach, grains, and liver. It's still used in a few prescription products such as potassium para-aminobenzoic for certain connective tissue disorders at doses thousands of times higher than anything in sunscreen. And even then, serious side effects are rare. And you'll find minute traces of PABA or its relatives in preservatives, fertilizers, and some cosmetic dyes, where it poses negligible risk. So while people imagine it as a toxic leftover from chemical age, It's quietly been part of daily life the whole time. Now, here's the part almost nobody knows. Did you know that your own gut bacteria makes PABA? It's a natural step in their metabolism, the building block to create folate or vitamin B9. So, PABA is a precursor in making vitamin B9. Folate is essential for DNA repair, red blood cell production, and healthy skin renewal. So inside you, PABA isn't a villain at all. It's a team player in the microbiome of your gut and of your body. When scientists first mapped that pathway in 1940s, they realized that folate synthesis in microbes depends entirely on PABA. Later, PABA was even measured in normal blood and urine, not because of exposure, but because your gut, your microbiome produces and recycles it continuously. Think about that. The same molecule once shamed on sunscreen labels is quietly supporting the bacteria that helps keep you alive. So if PABA shows up in your system, it's normal. It doesn't mean toxicity, it means your metabolism is working. There's no dangerous blood level, no evidence of buildup, and no proven systemic harm at physiological doses. It behaves just like any other water soluble B vitamins, used, recycled, and flushed away through the kidney in the urine. The only people who should avoid it are those with proven allergic sensitivity, which is straightforward to diagnose. Everyone else can safely forget the decades old myth that PABA equals poison. It's worth pausing here because the PABA story is a classic case of how fear outlives evidence. Once a word becomes shorthand for unsafe, even scientists struggle to win it back. But if we want rational, evidence based healthcare, we need to update our mental file folders. PABA was retired, but not banned. It was replaced for comfort, not because it was killing anyone. And inside every one of us, it still serves a purpose. It's a natural molecule, a natural biochemical, quietly linking sun protection, nutrition, and the microscopic world within us that we now know so well and have a new name for it, the microbiome. So the next time someone says, "Remember PABA? They said it was safe too?" You can smile and answer, "Yes, and it is still safe." The real danger isn't in the molecule. It, it's in how easily we turn progress into paranoia. PABA wasn't the villain of sunscreen. It was the beginning of modern photo sun protection and a reminder that science evolves. I'm Dr. Chris Ho. This is No Hype Health Talk, where we look past fear and back to the facts.